Okay, let's go over this way. I want to go look at some stuff over there. I grew up in Kelowna. It's like a little town in BC. I played a lot of D&D as a kid. Like I started playing it when I was 10, and me and my younger brother and my friend, we played a lot of D&D, a lot of Magic. And so gaming and stuff has always been kind of a big deal for me, and like a family thing with my brother and I. He's 4 years younger than me, so he was like 6 when we were playing D&D. Role-playing games was a big like thing that my brother and I would do together. I talk about this on stream sometimes. Streaming feels a lot like playing Nintendo with my brother, where like I'm playing and talking about the game, and chat is my like little sibling getting excited about it.
What were you like in high school?
I was a big theater kid in high school, yeah. Stage management, and like I wasn't really like on stage much, but I think that's the case for like a lot of folks who like play role-playing games. The performative aspect of it, I think, draws certain people. I went through a period in my 20s of like trying to be cool and like hang out with DJs and like not play role-playing games. And it lasted about 2 years before I was like, nah, I don't like being cool and hanging out with people. I'm gonna go back to playing D&D, listen to metal, hang out in the theater, play Dungeons and Dragons.
Were you ever in a band?
Yeah, very briefly, like 5 minutes in my early 20s. Me and a friend of mine were in a noise band together, and we were terrible. He played guitar and a bunch of effects pedals, and I played my laptop. And we played like 3 shows before we had to move back to Ireland, and we put out a cassette tape because that's what you do when you're like a cool noise band in 2002. And we were really bad, but there was always like 1 or 2 dudes at the show who were just standing in the back row, like nodding, like, yes, I understand this garbage. This terrible music is super cool to me, which is nice. There's always gonna be somebody who will just love your bullshit, whatever it happens to be. Sorry. Thanks. I went to university for like just under a year before I was like, it's not for me. It's very expensive, which I think happens to a lot of people. You end up in school, like at university or college or whatever, before you really have any idea of what kind of person you want to be. I don't think I've ever intentionally done anything in my life. I think things just happen to me, and I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll do that. That seems fun. Okay. I got one. I used to work at an advertising agency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for like 8 years. Advertising and game design are actually both really similar in that you're trying to convince people to do things they normally wouldn't do. In advertising, it's buy things. And in game design, it's like talk in funny voices and roll dice. People ask me all the time, they're like, is this what you wanted to do when you were a kid? Like, when you were a kid, did you think you were gonna be a Twitch streamer or whatever when you grew up? And I'm like, this job didn't exist when I was a kid, which is really cool. It's cool to be doing something I couldn't have imagined. I regularly think about how excited the 12-year-old version of me would have been to hear what my life was like now. I just try to impress the earlier version of me. That's how I make my decisions. What would a 12-year-old Adam think of this? Basic D&D I'll always play. Apocalypse World I'll always go back to. Burning Wheel is a game I'll never say no to playing. But there's so many small press games that have come out in the last like 10 years and continue to come out. There's always like new, weird, cool stuff to play. That's always nice. I feel like I want to stay on top of stuff too. Like, I don't like the idea of a game coming out and me not hearing about it. Thankfully, social media is really good at letting me know about these things. So I feel like I get caught up pretty quick. So I've been going to PAX for more than 10 years. Gen Con, I think we've been going 8 or 9 years now. So yeah, like a couple of years before we did Dungeon World. And then after Dungeon World came out, I had an excuse to be at every con ever. I think we worked on Dungeon World for 2 or 3 years before we got it to the point where we could kickstart it. I mean, making a game is like, I think it's really different depending on the game.
Yes!
My guy's hype. So it was really just about taking our notes and putting them together to make one game out of the 2 half games that we had. It's the editing that takes time. It's like you have a manuscript and then you have to make it into a game. Is that? Yeah, you want to take a selfie with me? Sure, let's do it. Yeah, do it. There you go. Yeah, awesome. Cool. Yeah, thank you. Pretty regularly. I try to let people know where I am because I come to these things to meet people and like get to hang out, however briefly, with fans. So it's no secret where I am most of the time. But yeah, it depends on the con. Like Gen Con, I get stopped a lot, but I really like it. It's super cool. I mean, who doesn't like being told like, hey, that thing you do is great and I love it and thank you for doing it. Oh, they don't understand it at all. No, my parents have no idea. Like, I think they understand it in an abstract way. Parents in general, I think, have this abstract way of like appreciating the things that their kids do without understanding them at all. That feeling of like, it sounds like you're having fun and you are reasonably successful at it. So cool, keep doing it. I don't get it at all, which is nice. I'm happy with that. That's fine. My mom and I actually had this conversation. It's fun being able to say, hey, you remember all those times you told me to stop playing Dungeons and Dragons and like do other things? Yeah, I didn't stop. I win. I won that argument. It took me 20 years, but I did it. I get asked about designing games a lot. I mean, people just ask about like, I am starting to do a thing that you already do, right? How do I do it? What do I do? Which is cool. It's nice being an expert in something and having people ask about it. People always, I think they always feel like they're being a burden or like I'm having to answer the same question over and over, but I really like it. I like being able to engage with people and just say like, here's something I've learned. Maybe this will be useful to you. I like mentoring people. I try to make myself accessible that way. Let people know where to find me and invite them to come and talk to me. I'm so anti-competitive. It's funny because I'm just like really nice and polite and I want people to have a good time. And if somebody wants to win really bad, usually I'm like, yeah, you can have it. It'd be mean of me to take it from you. No, I mean, that's why I like RPGs so much because it's like a collaborative thing. You get to hang out with your friends and like make up cool stuff and everybody boosts everybody else. Like my interpersonal skills without RPGs are minimal, but making friends by playing RPGs comes so easily to me. I really like it. And it's like being in a band, right? Where you all have things you're good at and you get to use them together to make something other people can appreciate. And I think that's really special. I think that's it's a cool thing to be able to do.